Hi, welcome to KLVW Spotlight. I'm Mike Marizio. There is a new group in town. The LVW Photo Group was founded recently to replace the photo club that used to be at LVW years ago, back in the days of film and negatives and enlargers. For some reason, like old photographs, that club faded away, but we have started a new group very recently to address photography in the digital age. With me today are my two guests, Susan Meyer and Mike Dunn. Thank you both for joining us. They, together with Don Spitzmiller, are the founders of the new LVW Photo Group. Susan, let me start with you. How long have you been living here, and how is it you came to live at LVW?
I've lived here for just about over 2 years. I moved in May of 2017. And I just heard about it from different friends that lived in the Ocean County area. And there are just so many nice things I've heard about it, the amenities and the activities that are abound here. Then I said, this is where I want to spend my golden years.
And how do you like it so far?
I love it. I love it. I'm really going to be more active in it. And I heard about I met Don Spitzmiller, and we talked about doing something with photography in the village. And I said, yeah, I'm in.
Very good. Mike, how about you?
My wife and I moved in here about 15 years ago. We were downsizing. The kids had all gotten old and on to their lives. My wife's sister and aunt both lived in here, so it was kind of a natural fit.
Now, Susan, you represent the professional photographer in the group, and tell me how you got started in photography.
I started with, going to a local county college, and I fell in love once I got into the darkroom and saw the magic of photography appear before my eyes and develop. I progressed, and I got into my studio in Woodbridge, New Jersey, for about 15 years, and after that, there was an opportunity for me to teach at a private art college in Plainfield, which is called Ducre School of Art and Design. And I taught there for 17 years. And I've also been involved with a professional school that is still in existence called MARS. It's a Mid-Atlantic Regional School of Professional Photography that's held every year in Cape May, New Jersey.
Mike, how about you? What attracted you to photography?
Well, being the amateur, I don't have the credentials of Susan, but I've always had an interest in it. I just, as a lot of people in here, have not had a great deal of time to pursue that interest. I now have a little bit more time than I've had in the past, and I'm now looking to pursue it. I expect to learn a lot, both from Susan and Don, and I hope anybody that comes to our meetings will also.
I remember back in the 70s, I spent quite a bit of time in a darkroom, and it was a thrill when you exposed a piece of paper and put it in the developer tray and started shaking it, and the image just came up in front of you like the old Bob Cummings show, like the opening of the old Bob Cummings show. And you'd say, oh my God, it worked again, look at that. We have actually a little presentation of Susan's photographs to show you. And Susan, would you like to tell us a little bit about what we're going to see?
Well, in this selection is a lot of nature. I do, landscapes and flowers and that sort of thing. But I do carry a wide span of interest in photography, portraiture and product illustration, publicity photographs, and so this is just a small sampling, but I figured it would be something that a lot of the people in the village would have an interest in as well.
Very good. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Very, very nice. A beautiful photograph, Susan.
Thank you.
So tell me a little bit about what inspired you to start the photo group.
Well, again, basically my interest on learning a lot more than I know right now. We were at, because it's Thursdays, and we started talking about it, and frankly, I really wasn't thinking about it very much up until the point of talking to these two guys, and we all kind of said, boy, that would be a good idea to do that, and here we are today.
How long ago was that?
Well, I guess it was about last August that Ron from Thursdays, I got to, it was one of my earlier meetings that I got to that group. And I told him about myself. He goes, oh, you need to talk to Don. So I talked to Don, and we started talking shop about photography and his video and still photography background. And I talked about mine. And we talked about later on, I guess when it got towards around the holidays, about maybe putting together a photography group. And Don was really one that really made the initiative to, make it a reality, and started, having some little meetings at his home.
Right.
Yeah.
We're talking about Don Spitzmiller.
Yes, correct,
Who is
yes.
not at the table with us, but Don is in the control room watching us. So hi, Don. Everybody say hi to Don. Very nice. Now, I think I know the answer to this question, but for whom is the photography group? Is it for avid photographers, hobbyists? Is it for Aunt Martha, who just wants to take pictures of her grandchildren or her nieces and nephews with her phone? All of the above?
Yes, basically all above. We're going to cover the whole gamut. It could be as simple as learning how to maximize the use of your cell phone, all the way up to a digital SLR, which is a single lens reflex. It could be for the amateur, it could be for the enthusiast, it could be for the professional. We will have guest speakers that will come in from time to time, different specialties. And I think it's going to be like a really fun group. We're going to also intend to, in addition to our monthly, more like classroom instructional group gatherings, that we're going to go and do some field trips too when weather permits, especially now this time of year, taking advantage of the nice weather out there. And we can do some nature or, the things that are in the local areas.
So, Mike, when does the group meet and where?
The group meets every fourth Wednesday at 7 p.m. in the AB room of Willow Hall. Also, I'd interject a little bit. It's a work in progress, the group. I think we're going to let it take us where we're going, because there's so many different levels that we want to talk about and teach and the like, that as new members come in, they'll be giving us their ideas on things, and I think all of that will direct us on where we're going to go with the group.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about what programs you have you have coming up. Like the next meeting, is there a program that you have planned for it?
Yes. The first program is going to be, basically the topic is, I just got a SLR, a digital camera, now what do I do? And we're going to teach people how to do, the workings on how they interact with one another, the aperture, the lens, the shutter speed, depth of field, and composition, and all of those things that will help you take better photographs and consistent, so that when you press the shutter, that what you see your mind's eye is going to end up in your camera.
Very good. So what programs are you thinking about for the future?
I think this would be more a question for
Okay,
Susan.
some of the things, in addition to, the local nature and things, but just for instance, like how to take better photographs of just subjects. So, there's probably a variety of people that might have an eBay business, okay? And in order to sell something successfully, you need to make it look good. So we're going to teach you how to photograph products, or whether it be clothing or a dish or...
That would be very
Yeah.
useful because there's a lot of people who sell online. They sell through Facebook and they sell through all
Exactly.
these other sales websites.
eBay and whatever.
And the photographs, frankly, most of them are absolutely horrible. You can't even tell what it's looking at, what you're looking at, let alone what condition it's in.
Right.
One of Dawn's favorite themes that we'll be looking at also is iPhone photography. Everybody has an iPhone, therefore everybody is a photographer to one extent or another. I don't think it's utilized half of what it really, the capability
What it can
is.
do.
And on the digital camera side, we have some flyers in the lobbies and the like, and I've gotten a number of phone calls leading me to believe that an awful lot of people have a digital camera and have no idea what they're supposed to be doing with it. So it's going to be very helpful to all of us.
Now, do you have, on the subject, do you have any members so far who are still using film? Has that happened yet? Maybe it never will.
Well, it hasn't come up yet.
It hasn't come up yet.
But for those that are still using film, I'd be more than happy to, answer the questions or give them some direction or, in that area as well. So I taught photography and with darkroom photography at the private art college. So we're able to handle anything but once anybody wants to field to us.
Now, speaking of darkroom, of darkroom work, the old photo club, and I'm not sure, it was already gone by the time I moved here, and that was about 4.5 years ago, and it had already dissolved. But I don't know if you've been to the new coffee lounge in Club Encore.
Yes.
The kitchen of the coffee lounge used to be the darkroom for the photo club. It was a darkroom, combined darkroom and studio.
Right.
And it had plumbing already. It was being used as a storage room recently, but it already had plumbing, so it was relatively easy to convert it to the kitchen that they need for the coffee lounge.
Right.
But that's where it was.
Our group, fortunately, will be a lot less complicated, and probably for the association too.
Now, I assume that eventually you'll be covering the subject, the big P word, Photoshop, the 400-pound gorilla of photography. So someone will bring in maybe some laptop computers, and you can do some workshops on Photoshop.
Yes, we can. I've taught Photoshop as well, and I am certified in Photoshop. So it's one of my second loves in photography is Photoshop. And there's a lot of great things you can do with for the average person. Would be to enhance a photograph that maybe didn't turn out quite the way you wanted, but you couldn't go back and do it again. For photographs that you let's say family photographs that maybe got destroyed or faded, and we can maybe restore some old photographs and teach you how to enhance those things as well.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful way, even photographs that you have that are in good shape, it's a very good idea to get a hold of a scanner or something like that and get them digital so that you can pass them on. You don't have to worry about they're rotting away in the box in the garage.
And as an amateur, I think Photoshop will really help me.
Well, it's a help for everyone. And speaking of which, not only Photoshop, but there are amazing photo editing apps, some that come with your phone that are really, pretty good. I mean, we wouldn't dream of having these kinds of capabilities 30 years ago.
Right.
But also things you can buy that are just over the top. Some things will allow you to mask the foreground subject and replace the background or throw the background out of focus.
Right.
And this is just on your phone. I like to say that my phone is a better camcorder than my camcorder was 12 years ago.
It's true.
And
Yeah.
it's absolutely amazing the capability that people carry around in their pocket nowadays.
Yes.
Yeah. And speaking of other members, you have a member, Chris Sturm, who
Yes.
many of you know Chris from the Nature Club, and also he has done shows here on KLVW on nature. And we have a little presentation of Chris's photographs. Surprisingly, he focuses on nature photography as well. Let's take a look at that. Hi, welcome back. Again, I'm here with Susan and Mike, and we're talking about the brand new LVW photography group. So tell me a little bit about what the future holds for the group, where you would like to take it in the future.
Well, some of the other topics we'd like to cover would be portraiture. I mean, we all want to take photographs of our family and friends and special social events that happen, such as weddings and graduations and that sort of thing. And she had to take the most pleasing photographs of people on controlling the lighting situation, whether it be by natural daylight. You want to do things in open shade, not to go in bright sunlight so people are squinting and have spotty lighting on them. So we'll show you how to control lighting and a little bit about posing and body, language and that sort of thing. That would be, you've got grandchildren and that you want to photograph and keep those memories of. So,
well, pictures of people, I think, represent the majority of photographs that people take nowadays. Mike, I heard someone mention something about field trips in the future. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We are looking forward to doing that. Again, it's still a work in progress, but we certainly have that high on the agenda. We don't have specific locations and the like yet, but that will come. But yes, we will be going out on a reasonably regular basis to do that. It should be fun.
Well, perhaps when you hold your first field trip, KLVW can have some representation there, and we can share what it was like with our audiences.
That would be great. We'd love to have you.
yeah.
So, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about the group before we wrap up?
Well, it's for all levels. Whether a beginner, professional, we welcome professionals to join us as well, because, like I said, we're going to jump into, Photoshop down the line, fine portraiture, studio, especially in the wintertime, we'll be doing some studio lighting, showing the different lighting patterns on the face to enhance someone to look their best. And so it's, like I said, it's just for all levels of people that have a passion and love for photography.
And as we mentioned before, there will be guest speakers, which should keep it very interesting. We're really looking forward to it. I would like to say, though, that for whoever comes to our meetings, at least initially, bring their cameras with them.
And speaking of your meetings, would you tell us once more when and where you'll be meeting?
They are going to be meeting at 7 p.m. in Willow Hall, the fourth Wednesday of every month. I'll edit that a little bit. I know there are going to be a couple that the association has the room, but basically it's going to be the fourth Wednesday of every month, 7 p.m. in the AV room of Willow Hall.
Very good. All right. Well, I would like to thank you both for joining us today. This is a subject that I'm very, very interested in.
Come to our meeting.
I'm sure your club is, your group rather, is going to be very successful. By the way, we should mention that as a group, you don't charge dues.
No.
Right? So anybody is just free to come, bring their camera, and learn something. Again, thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
So this has been a spotlight presentation on the brand new photography group. We thank you for watching. This will be viewable throughout the broadcast day all of this week, and thank you for watching.